I don't think that the 49ers coaching job is really as appealing as a lot of 49ers fans are making it out to be.
Talk about
and we're all talking about Ben Johnson and how if they can get him, he's basically a lock. Like, when the first thing that he'd have to choose from is paying Brock Purdy $60 million a year or getting rid of Brock Purdy, and neither of those are going to sit well with a lot of the 49ers fan base.
Right.
So it's just like, it's a rough situation to be in.
Maybe go coach the Bengals and Joe Burrow.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like every coach is choosing the Bengals at that point. And the Yorks would pay up, sure, but it's just, I don't think it would look good at all.
Well, they could bring back Saleh.
As you said, fix the defense, but no, we need an offensive coach because I think the offense is what needs to get back on track for sure. And
True.
Like, the defense is not what lost yesterday's game.
Like, if they're going to bring in another offensive coach, like, not from this tree though. That would be my one stipulation. Not from the Kyle Shanahan tree.
Exactly. And like, I don't think they're going to fire Kyle. I don't. Unless, like, it all crashes and burns and pretty much what has happened to the Cowboys happens to the 49ers happens. Because
what about
Jed Luck?
What about the Patriots or the Giants? Some team with a top 10 pick, like, we will trade you 2 firsts for Kyle. How do you say no to that?
I think you have to do that, but do the Patriots do that? Because I mean, does Jed do that? I don't know.
Will the Cowboys do it?
They shouldn't, but they might. They shouldn't, but they might.
I mean, what organizations would be dumb enough to do that? Dallas, Las Vegas. Those are 2. I'd like to see if there's a sucker out there that wants to part ways with a couple firsts for the best play caller. He's the best play caller in football. He's underrated. DJ
says a lot of the 49ers fan base, but
yeah, I'm gonna spend the next 2 months trying to build up his trade value. Saying nice stuff about him. Yeah, help facilitate his exit.
It's not a good situation to be in with the 49ers right now. I don't think that the coming years are going to be looking very good. This team is old. The younger guys are going to need time to develop. This whole Brock
you don't know what you got with
like,
Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly.
You don't know what you're going to have with Ayuk when he gets back. Debo's on the way out. Kittle's great, but he's 31 and breaking down. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say, Grant, is just the fan base.
So DJ Adams just wanted us to come on and say the future's bleak. Stop rooting for the 49ers, everyone.
I promise you I'm a 49ers fan, all right? But it's just like I'm getting Harbaugh vibes and how that ended, just like someone else said previously.
There might be a couple of years of salary cap hell before they can move on. Yikes. DJ,
we'll see what ends up happening, though. Appreciate you, Grant.
Thank you, man. What about Brian Flores? Who did Kyle look at when you pressed him Friday? I don't know. Someone in the front, Eric Branch? I don't know. Smack Jones says, ask Kyle how a leading rusher gets 4 touches a game. Why give sweeps to the slowest wide receiver on the team? Why can't we see young wide receiver get touches? Michael Fawcett says, Hawks fan here. Saw you on Hawk Blogger. Love your personality and character. Thank you, Michael. Misery loves company. Welcome to the bottom with us. Keep up the great work. Yuki says, I want your honest opinion. What do you think about having a play 4 straight teams coming off bye weeks? KC, Cowboys, Bucks, Hawks seems like a lot to me. I think the NFL's got it in for the Niners because of that 5th round pick day. I don't know. All right, who's next? Clearly Amin the Dream. What's up, Amin?
What's up, Grant?
Oh, we just getting the voice today?
No cameras today, Grant. No cameras today.
All right. That's cool.
Man, it's frustrating to watch this Niners team. Kyle Shanahan, people claim that he's this offensive genius and whatnot. This team put up 2 touchdowns against the Seattle Seahawks the entire game. And people are saying when Christian McCaffrey comes back, what reason is there to have optimism about this team looking forward like this season? There's no, like, what reason should Niners fans, question you, Grant?
Where's the hope? Where's the hope?
Yeah, where's the hope? Like, what reason should Niners fans be optimistic about this season?
And if they don't make a big change this offseason, where's the hope for next year?
But that's what I think they should get rid of Kyle Shanahan, because if you realistically think about it, there's so many Niners fans who are like, well, if we fire Kyle Shanahan, then what if, like, we have another Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly? But, like, we already know that Kyle is incompetent. He's incompetent. He can't win a Super Bowl. And if he would have won a Super Bowl, it would have been last year, but he still couldn't do it last year. So, like, we know that Kyle can't win a Super Bowl. We know that Kyle refuses to learn from his mistakes. We know that even with literally the Avengers on offense, with Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Shanahan still struggles to put up points offensively. The New York Giants put up more points against the Seahawks, Grant. The New York Giants, who literally are a dumpster fire of an organization, who benched Daniel Jones today, they put up more points against the Seahawks than the 49ers did. We got Geno Smith pulled out the Steph Curry celebration against the Niners. That's how bad the Niners have been playing. And
Dude, he said night-night to Kyle's career. Night-night.
But that's the thing. Will Jed fire Kyle, though? I don't know if Jed will be willing enough to fire Kyle. Because, like, Kyle, the thing that I have an issue with Kyle is not, I'm okay if you as a head coach are struggling or you have problems. It's year 8, and the issue with year 8 is that, like, there's expectations this team is going to be a Super Bowl team. But, Kyle, you refuse to hold yourself accountable for anything that you do. Anything whatsoever, Kyle refuses to hold himself accountable. And then when you look at the players, like Debo, why do we still have a freaking boombox walking out the tunnel? Like, y'all have not won a Super Bowl. Y'all have not won anything whatsoever. Y'all have made it to a couple of NFC Championship games and blown a couple of NFC Championship games, blown 2 Super Bowls, and yet we still walk around with the boombox as if we're like the Chiefs who won back-to-back Super Bowls and it doesn't matter. Like, no, we're not. We haven't won anything, but everybody walks around in this Niners organization as if we're the team to beat in the league. We're not.
Nope.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, man. Kyle just doesn't hold himself accountable.
So here's the thing. So, I mean, bear with me for a second. I think, like, everyone's premise on this show is Kyle should get fired but won't. But if every 49ers fan thinks that Kyle should get fired, that to me, that's a guy who's got on shaky ground. It's much easier to fire a coach that all the fans want to get fired than, a coach who has support. He has none right now.
He has none right now, but I don't think it's that we think that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have moments of brilliance. It's just that Kyle, when he has his low moments, it's because not that he can't adjust or that, he doesn't have the ability to adjust. It's just that he refuses to adjust. Kyle Shanahan has this problem where, like, we know that there's a problem on the field, but Kyle refuses to even acknowledge that there is a problem, right? When it is clearly evident to each and every single one of us that there's a problem with the offense right now, Kyle. But Kyle, for some reason, is acting like everything's fine, everything's good. And even looking at that Super Bowl, Grant, like, when your coach doesn't know the overtime rules in the biggest game of the season, like, when you think about that, isn't that kind of a fireable offense? Like, you're head coach of the team, and yet you didn't know the rules of the overtime.
Isn't that enough?
And isn't that enough? Yeah, it's frustrating. And, like,
it's just a Super Bowl. It's just a Super Bowl, though. I mean,
yeah, it's not like the biggest game of the season. And one last thing,
he's still the best. Everyone says so.
Well, one last thing, Grant. You look at, like, going back to last year and this year, the way that Kyle, like, some of the times where Kyle Shanahan struggled offensively. This year's been a lot, but you look at the games against, like, there were defenses where they call a lot of blitz. Like, you look at Brian Flores, Steve Spagnuolo. Both times Kyle Shanahan has played those head coaches, played those defensive coordinators. Like, you look like a Spagnuolo or a Brian Flores. Look at last year's Vikings game, and look at this year's Viking games against the Vikings. There was 0 adjustments made by Kyle. 0. They both games. He came out with similar offensive game plan. Both times the offense struggled against defensive coordinators that call blitz a lot and that like to blitz. Like, Kyle Shanahan refuses to adapt. He refuses to hold himself accountable. And you saw, like, I saw the tweet that you put out, Grant, like, about Diamo Lenore said, like, something like Cohn head next time you, like, dude, we're losing.
He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about Kenneth Walker.
He's talking about Kenneth Walker, but I'm like,
yeah.
Games, and instead of, like, talking about what we need to do better, you're out here on social media addressing Kenneth Walker. Like, who cares?
Also, I like Lenore a lot, but, like, man, they just gave you like $100 million, and the first thing you do is get in a fight with Kenneth Walker. Like, you're a face of the franchise now. You can't do stuff like that.
It's tough, man. I want Ben Johnson on this team, but I don't think it'll happen.
I'm with you, man. Good to hear you. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Yup. I mean, he's dejected. Yup. That's a 17-year-old kid with angst. I loved it. That was great.